What is up? It is Red, the Rideshare Ginger, coming right back at you for another episode of Good News Thursdays. And I think I have settled on Red's Place is the title for this. And so we'll probably roll forward with that going forward, but still looking for input. If someone wants to change my mind, let me know. But just like Good News Thursday last week, I got 3 news stories today for you. And I think it's good. If you're click-clacking around or sniffing around, it's my dog. She's walking around. She just doesn't know how to sit still. So if you hear her walking around, it's just her. Sorry for the additional noise. And damn, this shirt is tight fitting on me. I feel fat as fuck in this. Holy shit. But Good News Thursdays. So I think it's important to focus on some good news here and there. All the craziness going on in the world, all you see is bad news left and right, and most of these good news stories just kind of fall to the wayside. So I'm trying to, hopefully once a week, bring you some good news. I might not get them out every single week, but the goal is to get it out at least once a week. And so we'll go ahead and jump into the first news story, and it's a Today article, and it's Seattle home bakers donate over 1,300 loaves of bread to a local food bank. Apparently I'm struggling to speak today. And this one's pretty cool. So basically, there's a set of bakers that, like during COVID and stuff, just started baking bread at home. And so they developed a recipe that creates 4 loaves, and the thought is you keep 1 loaf for yourself, donate the other 3. And it's led by college administrator and avid baker Catherine Curley, K-E-H-R-L-I. And the name of the organization is Community Loaves. And they've been on a hell of a freaking mission. 1,300 loaves is an insane donation. And they say the recipe is just 4 simple ingredients. It's flour, water, salt, and yeast. And the flour is actually locally sourced too. So it's pretty cool. And the way they feel about it is that 1 loaf of bread that you keep is just kind of your thanks for, donating and being of service. And the loaves are donated by the carful to the Hope Link, which is an area food bank. So they collect them and they donate them. And I just think this one's pretty cool. I mean, there's tons of starving people out there, and it just got worse during COVID. So, and bread's not much, but it's something I can't imagine it costs that much to make. So I think it's pretty cool to get together, make 4 loaves, keep 1, so you got 1 for your family, and then you're donating 3 other ones. And some people are even saying in here, it helped them connect with their family members. Like one was making loaves of bread with their grandfather over Zoom. So they were both making a set, and because of COVID, they weren't really able to see them, and now they're able to sit there and at least do something together, sort of. So it's pretty cool. And then our second story, it's on MSN, it's a CBS News story. It's doctor clears $650,000 in medical debt for patients. So this was a doctor it's Dr. Omar Atiq, A-T-I-Q. He opened the Arkansas Cancer Clinic 29 years ago to provide cancer care to an underserved community in Pine Bluff. So what's pretty cool is he ended up closing the facility, and when he closed, it's not cool that he closed the facility, but no. So when he closed the facility, he kind of passed on his bill pay over to another company to collect all the outstanding payments. And he said, just browsing through it, he realized that there were patients that were paying $10 for months on end, $5 or $50. And patients wanted to pay, but they just didn't have the ability to pay. And at the same time, the country was in the grip, and still is in the grip, of the COVID-19 pandemic that has devastated lives in more ways than one. And that's a direct quote from Atiq. And so he spoke to his wife and kids about it, and they decided they didn't need the money, his patients did. And so twice he relieved the debt of these patients, and he did it in June and then another time around Christmas. And the second time he sent a holiday card to about 200 patients, letting them know they no longer had to pay their outstanding medical bills. And he said he canceled about $650,000 in debt for his cancer patients. And that's amazing. And I mean, most people would think, well, it's a cancer doctor, he's got a ton of money, which obviously he does have a decent amount of money if him and his family felt like they had $650,000 that they just didn't need. But what's cool about the story is most people would feel like, well, I got the $650,000. Let's go get another car. Let's upgrade our house. Let's go on this vacation. Let's do this. Let's do that. I got kids. Let's put it away for college. And like, I'm sure he has all that money put away too. Like, he's got that done, I'm sure. But instead of using it for himself or putting it away for his kids for later, he chose to help somebody else out that needed it. And I think that's pretty cool, because there's a lot of people out there with money that do great things for people, but there's also a lot of people out there with money that don't do things for other people. So I just think it's pretty cool. The third story is on Amazon as well. It is what looks like a Channel 5 news or something like that. It's a pretty local story. Project Kindness. Bismarck families leave super tips, spread kindness. This was pretty cool. It's just about 2 separate families in Bismarck, North Dakota that made large tips to people. So one of them was an 11-year-old. So 2 Bismarck families. Sorry, I stumbled over the words on this one. Such an easy story too. 11-year-old Ava Brooks' Christmas. This moment was the best part of 11-year-old Ava Brooks' Christmas vacation. Ava and her family collected money from friends and family. It was $280, Brooker called. They gave it all to their server at Rockin' 50s. He was surprised, to say the least. She said, "We call it Project Kindness." And they got the idea from another family in North Dakota as well. And they got it from Heather Frey, and they collected $1,600. They said it came from all over the U.S., Colorado, Florida, New York, Ohio, and a few different places. And so they split the $1,600 into 2 super tips. And they said one server, Mary, had to walk away. I'm sure it was an overwhelming experience. And she was moved to tears. And it's pretty cool. Like, so there's these 2 families decided to collect money, give big tips to workers in the service industry, and don't get me started on tipping workers in the service industry. That's a whole nother thing that we could go on for days talking about. But it's a simple story, but it's a cool story. I mean, between those 2 families, they helped out 3 different people pretty significantly. $300 isn't life-changing, but it's not life-changing for everybody, but it can be life-changing. And who knows what that $300 went towards for that one. And then the $1,600, I mean, it's $800 a person. That's a mortgage payment for most people. That's rent. You know, that's paying a lot of bills right there. So I think that's pretty awesome for them. And the fact that they're able to get with friends and family to pool the money together. It's not like they just had the money themselves. They pooled it together with different people to go ahead and make these gifts, donations, tips, whatever you want to call them. And I just think that one's pretty cool. So 3 quick stories for you here today. We'll try to keep this going on a weekly basis. If you missed last week's, there is 3 stories from last week as well that were a little more in depth, a little bit longer, but just as cool. And I just think it's important for people to hear the good news of God, that there are people doing good in the world. It's not all bad. It's not all evil. There are people doing good things out there. I wish there was more, and there should be more of us, and it should get more news coverage. And hopefully we can take steps in the right direction. And maybe you see something cool like this and you can't quite get $300 to donate from friends and family as a tip, but maybe you can do an extra 10, 15, 20 than you normally would. And maybe you go find this recipe and bake the loaves of bread and find a way to donate them. I know there's some different rules on donations, things like that of food, so I don't know how they're getting around it where they're at in Washington for donating just loaves of bread, but I'm sure there's a way. And if you really want to do it, I'm sure you could organize it. And I'm going to post the links to the articles in the description. So if you want to kind of try to find a way to find that recipe and things like that, by all means, go for it. I'm probably going to do the same. So if I do happen to stumble across it or find a way to go around the process and go about it, I'll talk to you guys about it too. So yeah, that's kind of it. I think the channel's now going to be called Red's Place, most likely. We'll see where we go from there. But as always, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Dog's going to be loud talking through the ending here. I appreciate you guys watching. I just like hearing your feedback, your comments, whatever you guys have to say. So until next time, guys, like, comment, share. Thanks for watching.